Good morning. Welcome to the Super Carla Marie Anthony Show.
Why super?
I don't know.
Oh.
Coming off of Super Bowl Sunday.
Oh.
I do want to point out one of the things that I hate the most when it comes to Super Bowl Sunday is when people refuse to say Super Bowl when they're talking about the game. Like, oh, if you're going to watch the big game this weekend. Now, I understand in a commercial, if you don't have the rights to the Super Bowl and you haven't paid them.
Let's explain what that means.
Yes.
So, for example, if you were doing a commercial for Seattle Cocktail Club,
Yes,
and there was a watch party event for the Super Bowl, and you were on the radio, TV, social media, anywhere, doing a commercial saying, come to the Super Bowl watch party with Seattle Cocktail Club, you would get a huge fine. Huge ass fine if they found out. Because the Super Bowl is trademarked, meaning you have to be able to pay the NFL in order to say that in a paid commercial. So that's why you hear people saying, come to our Seattle Cocktail Club watch party for the big game.
Like if I was back in radio doing a commercial for Rent-A-Center, and I was like, you want a big TV for the big game. Because Rent-A-Center is not paying the NFL or the Super Bowl or that broadcasting station that has it that year, they wouldn't be able to say Super Bowl. But so many people that I follow in radio and in TV and just in media in general would be like, "Oh, I'm going to watch the big game with my friends." Like, just say Super Bowl.
Well, that's
just
because
say the game you're watching.
It happened to us at one point. There was like a big email that went out that said no one says Super Bowl in the air because we don't want to deal with the fine. So instead of educating broadcasters on how and when to say the big game versus Super Bowl, they just trusted no one and just said, you have to say the big game, sound like a big dumb idiot.
Yeah.
I didn't do it.
No, because that means they just don't trust you to make the right decisions.
Yeah. So.
I did see someone in the chat. Where was it? Here, Lisa. Who fell for the Tubi commercial?
Well, I literally did that 5 minutes before, so.
That's true. You actually did do that. You turned off the whole Super Bowl.
Yeah,
you turned off the big game, Carla Marie.
The Tubi commercial was, it made it look like you accidentally hit your remote and was searching through. And I saw like a meme after that were like, how many people looked at the dad in the room? I was like, what did you just do?
Yeah, I won't rank it as one of my favorite commercials, but it was the most creative and probably that was the most like marketing savvy commercial they had, I believe.
Yeah.
Did you have a favorite off the top of your head? Did you have a favorite Super Bowl commercial? Because I got my list over here.
Is it Ford, the electric vehicle one where they made it look like they were talking about penis problems?
I thought it was Jeep. Let me see. I have it written down. It was it was Dodge Ram.
Yeah, Dodge Ram, because all those guys really care about their penises.
Yeah, so I have premature electrification with Ram.
Yeah,
that ended up being my top. And here's the interesting thing. So that commercial was very similar to a Planet Fitness commercial with low E.
Mm-hmm.
They were both like spoofs of penis medications, essentially.
Yes.
But because I've seen the low E commercial before, they've been playing that since the new year kicked off, I can't give them any credit for it. Because if you're going to pay $7 million for a commercial,
wait,
I need to see something new. You're not going to give me this repeat nonsense.
I was watching SportsCenter after the big game, and there was a Burger King commercial that came on. And
Whopper Whopper?
Yes, but it went, big game, we skipped the big game, your memes are better than, and it was basically saying like the whole song, they changed it, and it was essentially saying, we didn't need to pay for a Super Bowl commercial because your memes were better.
Okay.
Than paying for a Super Bowl commercial.
Got it.
Was so, I was like, I love it. I'm all in on this. Probably not going to eat Burger King, but it was so good.
So so premature electrification, I think the two of us agree, probably our favorite.
Yeah.
I tried to write all of them down. The one thing I need to go into before we get into the rest of my list, though, I'm not sure if I missed a commercial, an M&M's commercial specifically, because they had the Maya Rudolph one where it's like candy-covered clams.
And the M&M's in the background saying help, and then all of a sudden the M&M's were freed.
I didn't know if there was a second commercial that I missed.
Well, we both missed it then.
Was there, or did it go from candy-covered clams to bringing them back? They didn't make a reference of like why it happened or what happened to Maya Rudolph or anything.
Megan, if you listen to the Morning Show podcast, I called it. I said it was going to be the M&M's leaving was going to be a PR stunt. And then last week they actually came out and said it was a PR stunt before the commercials.
Yeah. I feel like they botched that whole thing. I don't remember the M&M's commercial, says Martha.
Exactly. So
I don't
stupid.
think they did a good job with it. To pay Maya Rudolph for all those weeks, right, to post about it and whatnot, to have the press release go out, to run at least 2 commercials during the Super Bowl. So now you're at $14 million to start. I just don't think it was very good.
Mhm.
Yeah, the Ma and Yaz. That's what they changed it to instead of M&M's.
But like, no offense to Maya Rudolph, I love her, but I feel like people don't like to change her, make her. You need a bigger name.
Yeah, I don't think like I said, I don't think any of that money was spent well.
No.
Except for the initial, okay, I take it
Easy
back.
for us to say because we're not spending any.
The initial rage that they got when it was like, I can't believe they canceled M&M's, or people on the other side being like, I'm so happy we got rid of those woke M&M's. The initial rage maybe was worth it, but then you didn't have to run the Super Bowl ads.
No.
You could have just came back today and been like, psych.
Or just one being like, psych. You know what you know how I kind of feel though, like when we review Super Bowl commercials the day after the Super Bowl is very on par with people talking about their dreams.
I disagree. I think because a dream
Is a wish.
that you make in your sleep?
Heart. A
What?
dream
What
is
is
a
it?
wish your heart makes.
Okay, whatever. Let's see. Angela said, agreed. I was waiting for them to show. Oh,
Okay, everyone's talking about the Farmer's Dog. Farmer's Dog is a dog food. It's like real food for your dog, not kibble.
Mhm.
And the whole idea was like you want your pet to live longer, so give them better food. So smart, because how they did it was they showed a little girl getting a puppy, then she's, a little older, then she's a teenager, then she's going off to college, then she's getting married, then she's having her own baby, and the old dog is laying there with the little girl who's now a mom and her own baby. And I was like, are they kidding with this?
Yeah, there were 2 dog commercials.
Oh.
I don't think I started out loving the Farmer's Dog, right? Is that what the company's called? I'm looking at my list.
That was the one with the old dog.
That was like top 3 originally. And then as more and more commercials started getting played, it just kept falling down the
Good
list. It's like
commercial.
barely in my top 10 now. So I went premature electrification with Ram, number 1. Number 2, and maybe people won't agree with this.
Oh.
Best Foods with John Hamm and Brie Larson
So
and
funny.
Pete Davidson.
It was just so stupid
Exactly.
in the best way possible.
It was, I think it was one of those commercials where it was like, it didn't need to dive into any like racy topics or get political, or it was just stupid, fun, big names, big game, all of that.
Yeah, it was good.
It was. I don't have to go into it much more than that.
Then don't.
Next. This one I think a lot of people had as their favorite. Popcorners with the Breaking Bad cast.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
What?
I like the Doritos better with Jack Harlow.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I wasn't a Breaking Bad person.
Oh, I guess, and that was my question. Did you have to watch Breaking Bad to appreciate that? Because there were scenes directly from the show.
No,
that they were recreating.
I appreciated it, but like, there's a huge slew of people who don't even know what Breaking Bad is.
Huge slew?
Yeah. A whole slew.
I don't know.
What is the thing you said?
Continue. Sorry.
Whatever.
I knew what you were saying. We're going to continue.
Like my parents, although not the barometer for this because they have no idea what's going on half the time, but like they don't know what that was about. There's a lot of people that don't know that show. I still appreciate it because I knew what it was about. I've never watched a single second of Breaking Bad.
I also love that they brought in, I might butcher, was it Tuco was the character they brought in towards the end when he's trying the popcorners for the first time? Because like that's the actual reaction he has when he's trying the meth.
That's hilarious.
It's just so good. Claire said, yes, I'm rewatching Breaking Bad, so loved that commercial.
That's great.
I've heard of Breaking Bad, but never watched it. Okay, so Ashley, did you appreciate the commercial since you've never seen any of those scenes? Is the question.
Jack Harlow, the triangle.
That was one that I had. So good. I had it at the top.
For Doritos.
I have it. It's in 3 commercials for me. So that is in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th place.
Because they also only showed the Doritos in the very beginning and the very end. The whole thing was about the triangle, but you knew what it was about.
But do you remember they ran a campaign a long time ago? And it was something along the lines of like Doritos is the only chip brand that you just know by the bag. You don't even need the
bag.
You don't need the company name on it. Like the brand is so powerful that just the triangle and the color of the bag, you know what it is.
Oh.
It was, I want to say it was like 5 or 6 years ago they ran that ad. I gotta scroll all the way down here. By the way, I do not have the regular chat up. I don't think we did anything with the hype train today, right?
Oh.
I don't want to like miss that if we were supposed to. No.
But we have a cool thing.
Martha, I could eat Doritos for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We did have
So
some Doritos bags here because was it trick or treating? Right, you had a bunch.
We were the coolest house on the block.
And grabbing a bag of Cooler Ranch or Cool Ranch Doritos. I don't know why I said cooler. It did bring me back a little bit. Next, so Popcorners was the last one we talked about. I may be biased for this one. I'm going to throw that out there. I thought Google Pixel,
It was
for the first time, ran a really, really good ad. Like an Apple-style ad.
Yeah, like removing the people from the background, making your photos not blurry. Good job.
And the one thing that Apple's always done really well is not getting nerdy about the tech that's in the phone, but
Where
showing
Pixel
you
does normally.
Yeah, but it's showing you how you can use it for your family, you can use it to communicate and whatnot. And I think this was the first time I've seen an Android phone do that, and it was really well done.
It was good. I'm not getting
From an iPhone person.
Still not getting a Pixel though, because it's stupid.
Next up, number 5 for me was Uber Eats with Diddy.
It was good. I loved all the music. I like a music commercial.
I hated it at first.
Well, they were teasing it.
Yeah, the tease
for
I thought was
weeks leading
stupid.
up.
But then when they started bringing in all those like one-hit wonders and whatnot,
What does the fuck?
yeah, I just thought, well done. Very well done.
If you haven't seen that one, go watch it. You'll appreciate it.
Alicia from the 215 said, yes, makes me proud to be a Pixel owner. Everyone loves the photos I take with my phone. You know what, Alicia? We're putting you on the screen for that one. Not that Pixel pays for any of this, but I also hate when they tease commercials, Martha.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I think it's
Next
smart.
up, Carla Marie,
What?
your Jack Harlow Doritos commercial.
So good.
But you had that way higher.
I don't have a list. It's just in my brain.
Okay. I wanted to actually have like my notepad out
Okay.
to make notes about like
That's
the game.
just ridiculous.
and stuff.
Enjoy it.
But I just said, you know what? I'm just gonna every time a good commercial comes on, I'll rank it. And I tried to move things up and down. Towards the end, I stopped caring. Then I have the farmer's dog, which we talked about already.
Kia Dad.
Kia Dad. Kia Dad was the binky
Oh,
where he leaves the binky behind.
It's
Blah
funny.
blah blah. But here's an interesting thing, especially from someone who's like, because I've heard you say this. Why do we give
what
dads?
do you mean especially from? I didn't say anything.
Just wait, because you like the commercial.
I said it was funny.
Yeah.
Like how they made all the, like, for something so stupid.
But
They
it
made
was
cops escort him.
interesting because I feel like for the last couple of years, I've just been hearing like, stop celebrating dads for doing the bare minimum. And this was celebrating a dad for not even doing the bare minimum. He
For
didn't even
forgetting.
bring the binky. And then he brought the wrong one. But it was still a very good commercial.
It wasn't celebrating dads. It was making fun of a dad who's an idiot.
Next up, this one I loved because it actually told a story and it actually had a little twist
Threw
at
me
the
for a
end.
loop.
Amazon dog.
Well, it's not Amazon dog. It's not like Amazon launched a dog line.
No, but the dog commercial for Amazon.
So you didn't know what was going on in the beginning. You were
No.
like, I don't understand, like, what is this? And I was like, it's showing how everyone was at home and this dog was getting attention. And everyone starts going back to work and the dog starts wrecking the house. And like it was a 60-second commercial. It was long.
Mm.
And the family and you, the viewer, thinks the family is like, why is he doing this? Why is this dog doing this? That's it. You see them ordering a kennel on Amazon. And you're like, what the heck? And then you see the kennel in their trunk and you're like, what are they doing? I'm like, oh, I guess he's going to start taking the dog to work with him, this guy.
I thought they were going to lock him up all day.
And
Wait,
look,
that's called the kennel, not a crate?
yes,
Are they the same thing?
I
crate?
think so.
Okay, I don't know.
And then you see they get him a little dog friend and they were going to pick up the dog friend from a rescue in the kennel.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
And it told a story. It was great. Workday Rockstar.
Oh, that was a good one.
The Workday Rockstar one was pretty good. So Workday is a system that companies can use for their HR needs and whatnot.
Like tracking hours.
And it was a bunch of actual rock stars. Ozzy Osbourne, one of the guys from Kiss. It was not Gene Simmons. He's the only one who I actually know from Kiss.
Was the The female rock star.
Is it Joan Jett? And they were just the whole thing was stop calling your coworkers rock stars. They're not rock stars.
Yeah.
We're rock stars.
Yeah.
Pretty funny.
Yeah, it was it was very it took something that we all do in our everyday life and called it out, which I appreciate.
Next up there was the SmackDown pen. The WWE commercial.
Because you hate when people do that.
I do hate when people click pens. Don't need to really stay on that one for too long. Then I have T-Mobile Greece.
John
Travolta.
That's better than a stupid pen.
That one should have moved up. That was towards the end where I stopped ranking them.
So it was John Travolta and the guys from Scrubs. The guys from Scrubs are normally in the T-Mobile commercials that you see every day. It's all about T-Mobile's home Wi-Fi. And in this commercial, they had John Travolta and they sang Summer Nights, but about T-Mobile.
Yeah. Pretty good.
So good.
And the last one I have Tubi. We talked about that. It was just the most clever, I think, to getting everyone to talk about it. The last one, dark horse winner here, the Ben Affleck Dunkin' Donuts commercial.
Did you see it?
I did. I saw it twice.
Where was I?
They played it right in the beginning and right at the end. So I don't know if you can actually count it as a full Super Bowl commercial. Did it play while the game was on, I guess is the question. Or was it before kickoff and after the seconds ticked off? Because I thought that was pretty good. He's like working the drive-through, and it looks like it's one of those.
Well, that's the thing.
What?
That's been a thing. Like, didn't he work a drive-through somewhere randomly? It was probably filming this commercial, and it went viral a few weeks ago.
Probably, yeah. But then at the end of it, J-Lo rolls up. She's like, "What are you doing?"
Because that was the whole thing also with him at the Grammys that just happened? Yes.
Yeah.
Where it was like Ben Affleck would rather be working at Dunkin' Donuts than be at the Grammys.
Okay, it did.
What was I doing?
Play it during the game.
To watch all the commercials, and if I had to pee or anything, it was during the game.
The one time I had to take a bathroom break, I took my phone into the bathroom and had it up on YouTube TV on my phone. So definitely played during the game. Fred the Mailman said that the Grease soundtrack gives me PTSD. I'm going to need a better explanation than that.
Go Grease Lightning.
How did you feel about the Bradley Cooper and the mom commercial?
Oh, it was cute. What I want to know, though, like I need to know this. Was it set up to be filmed like that with bloopers? Or did they go into it with Bradley Cooper and his mom and say, here's your script, and then she just kept messing up and they were like, actually, this is gold? We know some peeps at T-Mobile. We can ask.
I have to believe it was set up like that.
I know.
It was set up to be bloopers and cute and whatnot, and not an actual script.
But I think that was good.
It was cute.
Oh, the Pepsi ones. With the actors being like, I'm an actor. I'm supposed to make you feel There was Zoolander. I'm supposed to make you feel XYZ. And it had Steve Martin in one of them. And then at the end, they like drink Pepsi, some new Pepsi flavor. Guess what didn't do that good? And they were like, oh my God, this is so good. Or am I acting?
So this is from Lisa in the chat. She said, did no one like the electric boogie for the electric Jeep commercials with Shaggy? I don't remember that one.
I remember seeing the Jeep one where they had the charging station on the top of a mountain. I don't see Boogie.
Yeah, I don't remember that one. Weird. Apparently people did enjoy that one.
Do you think that maybe they did some regional?
It's possible. I don't think Jeep would have done a regional one. Your regional ones are going to be...
Oh, it was the same one? That's the one I was talking about.
Then I guess it didn't really connect with us. I love Shaggy, too. That's weird.
Shaggy was in that? Pull it up.
The Jeep commercial?
I don't know what's going on. I'm getting cramps right now, but I'm scared that it's a cyst.
Okay.
So if I go down...
Let's see. YouTube, electric... What is it? Electric Boogie with... Let's see what we got here.
Okay, but you can make sure people can hear sound.
Oh, yeah.
But I didn't hear this music.
Okay, now I remember it. I don't want to play it too long because then we'll have...
Hold on. I don't remember hearing song. I remember going, is this Cocaine Bear?
No, now I remember it.
I got to go back and watch it. It looks like it'd be so fun.
It was okay. It was an okay commercial.
We didn't have Shaggy here in Seattle.
Huh?
We didn't play Shaggy.
I think we did. We definitely didn't play Saggy, but we did play Shaggy probably.
I want an electric Jeep so bad.
They do look pretty cool. And that's what you were talking about. You can't see here. I'll put it on the screen right now. The charging station at the top of the
I
mountain.
was like, it's so unrealistic.
They will start having charging stations though at national parks.
They're not going to put them on top of the mountain.
No, they're not going to put them on the top of a trail because you walk there generally. But what was it, Ridgeline? Where did we go in Colorado that we actually got to drive up pretty high? At Rocky Mountain National Park. I want to say it was called Ridgeline. You basically we drive all the way to the top.
Where that kid farted when they were taking the family photo.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure you can drive all the way up there. So who knows? They will start because and I did this story in the Morning Show podcast last week. There are a lot of national parks that are going to electrify their entire fleet, which means they're going to have charging stations for their own cars, which helps everybody else.
I don't understand people that are like, ugh, I hate electric cars. It's like, oh, so you like, but they're the same people that are like, gas is so expensive. Yeah. I just don't understand it. You really can't have both complaints. You got to pick one.
I don't think electric cars are suitable for everybody yet based on the infrastructure, based on the technology, based on the cost. They're not for everybody yet.
No.
Having a passionate hate for electric cars might mean you just work for an oil company.
Oh, maybe.
There might be that part of it.
But it's actually so crazy, and I think we've talked about this here before. When the conversation of electric vehicles comes up and I'm around my family in New Jersey, they're like, but there's nowhere to charge them. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like forgetting that.
But that's also not true in New Jersey, not in that part of New Jersey anymore.
No, it is. Because I took note anytime I went to a grocery store or anywhere, there's no charging stations near where my family is, maybe where yours is.
When I've gone to the malls in New Jersey, Target.
Our Target doesn't have them.
Oh.
So
the one by your sister did, though, the one that I went to.
Exactly. And I think it's because where most of my family is just a poorer part of New Jersey. So it could be that. But I come here, I can go to 7-Eleven and charge my car. It's everywhere. I don't have a car to charge, but
I think, this is my brother, actually. Let me put this in there. My brother is getting an EV. I don't know when he's actually going to get it because I feel like this has been a process for over a year.
He said any municipal lot has one. I'd almost guarantee the North Arlington municipal lot does not have one.
But maybe there was some New Jersey law that was passed and every municipal building has to have one. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't live in New Jersey anymore. Jilly Bean said, don't hate me, but I'm not an electric car fan. You don't have to be. I don't think that's what we're saying.
I think at some point you do.
What?
You're going to have to be what fan?
I don't think in our lifetime.
I do.
No way.
100% in our lifetime.
You think in our lifetime they're going to get rid of gasoline-powered or diesel-powered vehicles?
Yes.
I think
it's already starting in California and Washington.
Yeah.
It's 2 states by 2030. That's our lifetime.
I don't know if
not far.
I really don't know if those will hold up when the time comes.
Not Texas, because Texas just wants to.
Not even that. There's also, you got to think, just because you can't sell a new car in those 2 states, hypothetically, in after 2030, there's still a huge used car market.
I know that.
So
I'm not saying they're just gonna vanish. They're not gonna Thanos all the old cars.
I don't think they're going to be gone in our lifetime.
I agree. Gasoline cars are not going to be vanished off of this planet in our lifetime. They're not going to be all squished up at the junkyard, but they're not going to be sold in our lifetime.
So you think before you're dead,
before I'm dead at 110,
every state in America will not be selling new gas or diesel powered cars?
Yes.
All right. Mark it down.
We'll come back and
clip
check.
it. Yeah. Well, if we're still doing the show in, I don't know, a lot of years or not a lot. I don't know how long my lifetime is going to be. It could be
70 years.
It could be 70. It could be 40. It could be 100. I have no idea.
70 years from now.
There's a lot of that I don't control.
I'll be 105.
Okay.
What? I'm going to live into a 105. I know it.
Okay.
That or I'm going to die tragically. It's one or the other. The only problem California's going to run into is they don't have a power grid. Neither does Texas.
Well, that's going to be the other problem is, oh, look, I didn't realize our alerts were on the screen there. We need to really invest in the power grid and the ways that we electrify our states if we're going to ask for so many cars to be electrified. Because you can ask people all you want to not charge their cars overnight or not top them off, but people are going to do that anyway. You can't really go in and regulate what people do in their homes.
No.
So,
I mean, you can. You can control the amount of power you send to homes. Cities can do that.
yeah, they can. If you want people to riot and literally burn down the government, that's what you do.
Okay.
That's going to be by the way, that's going to be the next big war. The next big war is
water.
It's going to be water or power.
Yeah.
I mean, if power goes out for 2 weeks somewhere, like completely goes out. I'm talking about like no services or anything.
Yeah, but you can't, and
It's gonna get ugly.
And not like a earthquake.
No, I think even with a natural disaster,
People won't riot after a natural disaster.
I think they will.
They won't have to. They won't be able to. No, I completely agree. It won't be eggs. It won't be chickens that people riot over. It's going to be water.
I mean, I do miss cheap eggs. That was the best part of my diet was eggs were cheap.
They
I
were
could
cheap
have a
last
billion
week.
of them.
We got them so cheap last week, and now we don't have any.
Megan Sullivan, 1224, said, let's get electric farming equipment. I'm sure there's companies working on that.
Yeah, I don't need gas blowing into my corn.
The problem is with smaller farmers, they usually don't have the budget to buy new equipment like that.
Right.
And with the larger farms, you're talking about millions and millions of dollars turning everything over. What you hope happens is, like for the bigger farms, one piece of equipment craps out, they replace it with an electric vehicle. They're not going to do it all at the same time. It's too expensive.
Right. But I think that electric vehicles with solar panels on them would be cool because it's sunny on farms.
Yeah, most of them.
They don't got to use anything. Renewable energy.
They could, but they have to use up some land for that.
And here's what's crazy. All these cars are going to be able to be charged by the sun because that's all we're going to have at some point because we're going to be roasting.
Yep. What else do we have?
It's going to be great.
Let's see what Jill said. Is there a topic list for today? If not, can we please discuss what the objects are that we are...
No, because...
What is it?
Shooting down.
Oh, shooting down. I thought it said shorting down. And I was like, I don't know why we're shorting things down.
Well, when our own military says we don't know what they are yet, guess what? Neither do Carla Marie Anthony.
I think they're all spy devices.
From different countries?
No. I think mainly, I think you'd have Russia and China as the two main culprits.
Did you see that when reporters asked the military general who's in charge of protecting our airspace, are we like ruling out aliens, whatever? He said, at this time, we will not be ruling out any extraterrestrial life. And then another one came out and said, by the looks of it, they're not from aliens, but if they are, that'll also cause a riot.
But this is why that first official didn't rule out aliens, because they don't want to talk about spy planes.
No, aliens are here.
They'd rather all the Looney Tunes on the internet go, see, there's aliens. Our government's shooting down aliens.
Listen, if you're going to kidnap me because I say that they're aliens, I am going to stick true to my word.
Kidnapping you.
Because I believe that they are real. And if aliens take me, take my cats with me, please.
I don't disagree that aliens can be real. I think the universe is too large to assume that it is just us here.
Okay.
I just don't think that our government is shooting down an alien life form's flying objects.
Why?
And there's no like repercussions.
Well, because the aliens assume that's going to happen.
Oh, do they?
Yeah. Have you ever seen Spice World? No, you haven't. So you can't talk about aliens.
No, but I've seen Independence Day. I've seen Mars Attacks.
I've just
seen
saw
Alien.
E.T.
E.T. was a little bitch, though.
He was all the time.
E.T. was more like a little weasel. E.T. was a possum. He was an alien possum, just scared of everything. Kind of ugly. Pretty ugly, actually.
Yeah. All I know is that Spice World depicts aliens so well because that's going to be me. They come to Earth because they want the Spice Girls to sing for them.
No, I think Fred the Mailman's got it right
here.
He said, "Oh, hold on, I got to put this."
They're going to want me to be the queen of their spaceship.
He said, "To aliens, Earth is the ghetto they drive past with their doors locked. They don't want to be here.
Facts.
They don't want to be here."
We got all that junk flying around in our space.
And
it is true.
Nick NYC 718. Alaska is right near Russia. I do think this could be Russian or Chinese.
Yeah, well, Michigan is not right near Russia.
No, but one of them that was the first.
Two, technically. Because Alaska and the one over
the Yukon?
Yukon, which is right there.
And then where do you think the other one came from?
The Michigan one?
Yeah.
Canada.
Probably.
You know what? This is all Canada spying.
But didn't Trudeau ask us to shoot it down?
Well, both U.S. and Canadian planes were scrambled, and we got to it first. So I bet the Canadian ones are pissed.
So maybe it is aliens. Because what happens in Independence Day? All the countries like team up to fight the aliens. So, could be aliens, I guess. Yeah. But, yeah, I think they're
I'm going to choose to believe aliens. I'd rather them come take us all.
What else do we have here? Jill said Tones is onto something here. I don't know about that. Oh, so the other thing on the list, and then I do want to talk about your event later, Carla Marie, but the other thing on the list, I meant to talk about this on Thursday's show.
Oh, right.
And it's mainly because I spent I'm talking about 3.5, 4 hours of my life on Wednesday watching the House hearing, the House subcommittee, the House Oversight Committee, when they were questioning 4 former employees from Twitter. I watched 3.5 to 4 hours of this thing.
It's crazy that this is happening in our lifetime.
And part of the reason I wanted to watch it was I've watched large chunks, like 20, 30 minutes of congressional hearings before, but I've never watched a hearing in its entirety from opening statements to closing statements. And I'll be honest with you, I did not make it to closing statements because the lights went out at one point.
They didn't pay their bill?
During one of, maybe it was Jim Jordan, but during one of the Republicans that was speaking, the lights just went out.
And did they keep going?
They took a break and they came back like 20 minutes later. I don't know
how they how long do they go without taking a pee break or food break?
So they went 2 hours before the first break, I believe.
Nope.
Because I do remember them maybe an hour. They did say.
What if somebody's pregnant?
Because they did say
gotta pee.
The committee chair, who after his opening statements was pretty impartial, he mentioned as he was going back to one of the representatives, he said something like, I know one of you asked for a bathroom break. We're going to get this 5 minutes out of the way, and then we're going to take a...
man.
If I'm asking, a 20-minute break.
If I'm asking for a bathroom break, I got to go then.
But the interesting thing about watching...
That's why I can't do politics.
The congressional hearings is how stupid they are. And I'm going to remove the Trump one that ran towards the end of last year, only because that was...
Trump one that... Oh, the hearing.
The hearing about Trump and the... Capitol riots.
Mm-hmm.
Only because it definitely had similarities,
and
but...
people died.
But it was a made-for-TV event.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they scheduled it better. And it was, I think, all of them were less than an hour. They spread them out. So it was a whole different proceeding. But... this one, what was so crazy to me was watching it happen live with representatives asking questions, knowing that they're going to be taken as Twitter or Instagram or Facebook clips with zero regard for what the answer was. They'd have each representative has actually exactly 5 minutes to make their remarks, ask questions, get some answers, ask another question, and then they have to move on to someone else.
Right.
And that part of it was very meticulous. Like, the House chair did not let anyone go over.
No, he did at one point.
But it was only if someone else interrupted him. He would say, I grant you your time back or whatever. But every single representative starts with probably 3.5 minutes of a written statement of just all the punchlines and the zingers they want to get out there.
It's like when they were all singing Taylor Swift a few weeks ago.
And then they ask like one question, they don't care what the answer is, and they move on.
Because our government is a mockery.
It was real, real weird.
George Washington rolling around in his grave. Jefferson, Lincoln, all of them.
What?
So upset.
Oh, so I watched the 3.5 to 4 hours of that hearing on Wednesday. And the one person I was really impressed with, Maxwell Frost.
It sounds
He
like
is
a poem.
the first Gen Z congressman that we have. And so he's got to be 24. How old? How old is Maxwell Frost? He is
26.
26 years old, born in 1997, and represents the greater
Florida,
Orlando, Florida area. First Gen Z congressman we have.
It's crazy to me that Florida elected a 26 or 25-year-old at the time.
Yeah.
Democrat.
Was he? Yeah, he was 25 at the time. So, well, Orlando's, I mean, you do have like Democratic hubs in Florida, but
so
either way,
crazy.
regardless of the party that he's in, for a 26-year-old, I thought he did a really, really good job.
No, and this
it
is
was
why,
kind of crazy.
And this is why I think we need younger people in politics. I'm not saying we need to just take people right out of college and put them, they need to learn things. They need to get things out of their system, whatever. But electing 97-year-old people to speak, it's just they're all going to stutter.
Well, that was the other thing. There was a lot of the stuff that I heard in the hearing. You could tell that certain representatives just don't understand how a business or a company works.
Or Twitter, period.
A lot of them,
what it is.
And this was both sides. They'd have, headlines posted out so they could show, or emails or whatever.
Big printouts.
And there was one email, I forgot who brought it up, but there was an email from someone at Twitter, from someone at the FBI to someone at Twitter. There was a chain. And the representative asked one of the Twitter employees, "Do you recognize this email?" And the Twitter employee was like, "Well, I've seen it from the Twitter files, but I'm not on that email, so I'm not really familiar with it." Like, "Oh, so you've never seen this email?" It's like, "Well, like I just said, I saw it on the Twitter files, but I wasn't on the email chain." "Well, do you know what it's about?" I mean, and he kept going, "I wasn't on the email." And every question that the representative kept asking made it sound like that representative believes that every email that's sent to everyone in the company reads. There were so many things where I was like, do you not understand how businesses, especially large ones, work? Imagine if you were on every email that even iHeartRadio New York sent.
Murder.
You'd have 1 billion emails in your inbox.
No. Angela in Spokane said, "Yeah, I think there should be an age limit, max at 60 for politicians, and a salary cap. Politicians should not be millionaires." And I will add to that, I do think that you shouldn't be able to spend more than 10 years of your life working as a politician.
I don't know what
Or 50.
what limitations or caps or whatever we should spend. I'm not going to pretend to be that smart, especially not right now. Maybe I'll learn more and I'll have an answer.
I got him for you. You're good.
But yeah, I think there should be some more guidelines. I don't think politicians make that much money in salary. I think what they do oftentimes, though, is they have inside information.
Yeah.
To get stocks, to pick stocks. And even now, even though there has been an effort to at least publicize that, almost every representative in the House has botched those guidelines.
Yeah,
and
but
broken the rules.
If you limit a time someone can spend working in politics in that kind of level of like Congress, Senate, whatever it may be, you limit that kind of stuff from happening because the lobbying and the relationships that are made, a 10-year period isn't that long, right? A lot of these are like lifelong partnerships that these people have made. Like someone just said something about justices shouldn't get to just serve for life. Like that's absurd. Absolutely absurd.
Yeah. Listen, I don't disagree.
It's so stupid.
Here's what I would like to see. If you work for the government and you break any of the rules that are set forth for our government, immediate jail time. Yeah. That's it. You just go to jail right away. And if you're like, "Oh, but that's not fair," well, then don't be, if you think you're going to break the law, don't be a government official. How about that? How about that?
Yeah.
Because like the one I was talking about where there are now rules set up where you and your spouse, if you work in the House, or if you're a senator or a congressman,
okay,
you have to, I have to say, submit your stock holdings, your investments within a certain amount of time. I think it's 3 to 6 months. So you don't have to tell me right away if I'm this governing board. You don't have to tell me right away, oh, I'm investing in this company today. But within 6 months, you're supposed to let me know. And that's still not being followed. Almost every representative has broken that rule already, and it hasn't even been a rule for more than a year. So I'd be like, you know what? That's fine. Break the rule. You're in jail. Even if it's like a week. You just got to sit in jail for a week. Screw you. What else do we have in the chat today? Oh, yeah, and the fine, like Lenny said, is like $200.
So stupid.
So it doesn't even matter if they break the rules and get fined. Carla Marie, your event today.
Yes, it is with Seattle Cocktail Club at the Columbia Tower in Seattle. There are still tickets available. It's at 5:30 p.m. It starts at 5:30. It doesn't mean like you have to get there at 5:30. There's no like performance or anything that's happening.
Well, I was going to perform.
Yeah, you might perform. We got.
So
you
what
some
does
meals.
happen? Tell everyone what's happening.
So there's cocktails and there's some crafts going on. Bring your BFF or BFFs, and it'll be a good time. And there'll be great views because the Skyview Observatory on top of the Columbia Tower is the 76th floor.
It's really cool. I've been up there only once, actually, now that I think about it. And it is beautiful up there.
You have like a 360 view of everything. It's wild.
It used to be, for a long time, the tallest building west of the Mississippi.
Now what?
Now it's in LA. I want to say it's the JW Marriott. No, not that. What is the, let's see, tallest building west of the Mississippi is... The Wilshire Grand Tower in downtown Los Angeles has officially been crowned the tallest building west of the Mississippi. And that was on September. Oh, that was this past September.
Yeah, that's cool.
Huh.
By how much? Like a foot? I love when they do that.
Let's see.
And they're just like,
It will stand at 1,100 feet, including the spire. What was before it? It's not telling me. Is there a list? Let's see.
How tall is One World Trade?
The
Space Needle's like 700 feet.
List of tallest buildings.
Space Needle's 746. Did I make that up?
In the U.S. One World Trade is 1,700. Oh, 1776.
Oh, yeah, I knew that. Space Needle's 605.
I ran up that whole thing. Well, most of it. Okay, so we have New York, Chicago, New York, Chicago, New York, Chicago. So for being the tallest building west of the Mississippi, it's still only the 15th tallest building in America.
Crazy.
And then where does the...
What's that noise?
I don't know. Oh, wow, it's not really up here at all anymore.
Right. Oh, is that it?
No, that was in Manhattan. This one you thought?
Columbia Center.
Where? Oh, there it is. I did skip it. The 41st tallest building, and it is now...
It's 965 feet.
It is currently the 4th tallest building on the West Coast. Tallest building west of the Mississippi in terms of number of floors. And it has the tallest observation deck on the West Coast and west of the Mississippi. So it still actually has a good amount of, top-ranking things.
It's the tallest building in Seattle.
Yes. And there's really not anything close to it in Seattle.
No.
Opened in 1985.
What a year.
Yeah. Learning something new every single day. Also, coming up this week, if you want to hang out with me on Wednesday, and not just me, there's going to be other people there. That'd be kind of weird. Wednesday with Woodford Reserve Double Oaked Bourbon. We're doing a whiskey tasting in Fremont, which is not too far from here.
Yep.
Starts like Carla Marie's at 5:30, but it's on Wednesday, so the day after Valentine's Day this week.
Makes a good Valentine's Day gift for somebody.
If you want some info, you can DM me at Worst Anthony, or just go to SeattleCocktailClub.com, and they have all their events up there. You can buy the tickets and everything from that website.
Yes.
Wait, what was the question?
There was no question.
Well, Lenny's answering. I don't think anything
They're talking about
can
buildings.
beat the Burj Khalifa. That's currently the tallest one, right?
Dubai.
Yeah. I feel like Dubai has like 2 or 3 of the tallest in the world. Tallest
Hey,
buildings in the world.
did you know that a Rutgers football player won the Super Bowl yesterday?
I did.
How many Seton Hall players won?
0. We don't have a football team. But he's not even the first Rutgers player to win a Super Bowl, though.
I know.
Okay. Because there was was it the McCourty twins?
The McCourty twins. One of them won.
With the Patriots.
Yes.
That's at least one. I'm sure there had to be an offensive lineman or something too. Back in the day. Can't believe you don't know this. What a terrible alum. Like, I know how many players we have in the NBA right now.
How many?
2.
It's easy to remember.
1.5.
Okay.
Actually, it was really not a good week for Rutgers or Seton Hall basketball last week. We both lost our 2 games.
We're still ranked, right?
No. Well, you were still ranked yesterday. When the new ranking comes out today, you will most likely not be ranked. Because you were ranked 24th, I believe. And back-to-back losses, you're going to fall out of the ranking. 23rd. But either way, back-to-back losses, you're almost definitely going to fall out of the ranking.
It's okay. We're going to the ship.
You are most likely, unless you somehow lose every game for the rest of the season. And even then, you'd probably still get to the NCAA tournament. We need 3 of our next 5 games to be wins. And we can't lose tomorrow. That's the biggest thing. If we lose tomorrow, we are totally out.
I'm going to laugh so hard if Rutgers makes it to the ship and
What would you be laughing about, though?
that, haha, you love it so much. You want your team to be there so bad because, Seton Hall basketball is everything. And they don't make it. And then it's just over.
But you realize, so this is what you don't understand because you've only liked basketball since yesterday. And even then, how many Rutgers basketball games have you been to?
One.
Zun.
One.
Zun.
One. Yeah, Zun.
And where was that?
At the Prudential Center.
Okay. So, what you need to understand, and you should understand this as a Rutgers football player, is as a Seton Hall basketball fan, all I'm used to is disappointment. So, I would, yes, be disappointed that Seton Hall wouldn't make it to the tournament, especially in Shaheen Holloway's first year. It would have been cool.
Cry.
I would not cry because it's happened most of my life.
Not in recent years.
No, recently we've been good. Recently, and
You've made it like every year.
we've made it 5 of the last 6 years, I believe. Something like that. Remove the pandemic year when no one made it technically, even though that would have been our best year.
No, even our first year here, you guys were in it.
Hmm?
You lost to Gonzaga.
We did. First round, 6-11 matchup to a Gonzaga team that was not an 11 seed. That was ridiculous.
That's right. Thank you, Jen. My cutout was at a Rutgers basketball game during COVID. They put me on a cardboard cutout on a chair.
Oh, cool.
How many, did your school reach out
That's
to you?
going to be one of those things where in 30 years when they do like the That's So 2020s show, we're like, wow, I can't believe I had a stupid cutout at a basketball game and I thought that was cool.
No, it was cool.
It was not cool.
How often does Seton Hall reach out to you and be like, hey, Anthony, we'd love you to do something with the university?
Not very often. Although I have gone back for interviews at the school. When were you asked to go back for an interview?
Well, most recently, I got to do a live class or something with the president of the university.
What happened?
I don't touch anything. Who's doing it? It's a Tubi commercial.
Can you grab the remote, please?
What is that?
I don't know, but I'm going to get it off the screen.
Well, they're not sponsors, but if they would like to be, they can.
I don't know what that was about. There we go. Oh, Lisa said it always makes me think of John Camucci's ad at the airport.
It's funny. My friend recently was going through the airport, and she texted me, and she was like, "Is your friend John on an ad in the airport?" And I was like, "Yeah, whatever he is." And she said something like, "I was
What do
wondering."
you mean whatever he is?
I said, "Yeah, he is." And then the next sentence was her saying something like, "I was wondering who that hot guy was," or whatever. So of course I had to tell John she said that.
John's a good-looking guy. Oh, Claire asks a very good question. What did you guys think of Rihanna's performance?
I think Rihanna performed.
Rihanna.
It's Rihanna, and I will bet you $100 right now that it's Rihanna.
Well, I'm saying Rihanna. Go.
She literally tells everyone in every interview.
She
"Hi,
hasn't
it's
told me?
Rihanna." I was at her homeland. They call her Rihanna.
Okay, go. Continue.
It was awesome. And I think for someone who is very clearly pregnant, that shit ain't easy.
No, I think visually, and I've said this multiple
So
times,
cool.
visually it was the hands down.
Yeah.
the best Super Bowl halftime performance that I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the floating stages, the camera angles, the dancers, the crowd, the fireworks, everything was.
Fireworks are stupid, though.
No, I think towards the end, when they went to the outside shot and showed the fireworks, I thought that was dumb. But when they had her on the platform towards the end, and they had kind of like a lower angle shot of her, and then you saw the fireworks,
That was
like
cool.
that. It was just shot and staged and set up beautifully. I love Rihanna. I thought the songs were good. I don't think it was the best halftime performance I've seen. I think it was very, very good, and it was very, very entertaining. I forgot how many great songs Rihanna has.
I think she sounded great, which is not easy to do.
Yeah, but is she actually singing?
Yeah.
I don't know if is anyone actually singing at the Super Bowl? Really? I feel like they all just lip sync.
No, they're singing.
I'm going to look that up.
I'm not sure everyone is, but what is the point of having them perform live then?
Just to get people to talk about it? Do they sing at the Super Bowl?
So artists are not paid for halftime, ever, but Apple Music did pay her a bit because they were technically like sponsoring her. So I don't know if she's the first to ever be paid, which is kind of wild. But they always crush it in like album sales the next day, which is wild. But like,
yeah, like she's gonna be the top streaming artist for the next month.
But you are performing on like the biggest stage in America, and you're not paid.
Yeah,
it's absurd.
The only thing that makes me feel better is that it's not like they're bringing up and coming artists at the Super Bowl. These are multi-millionaires, in Rihanna's case, billionaires probably.
Yeah.
Already, I don't care if they got paid at the Super Bowl. You could, if you're rich enough, where you could have chosen not to do that. Like 50 Cent last year didn't have to show up. Dr. Dre's a billionaire, did not have to show up.
Yeah.
So I don't feel bad
they
necessarily.
Pay for like any practice facilities and stuff they need for working out things like dances, like the stage setup. I bet you that stuff's paid for. But
okay, Yahoo Sports. How often do Super Bowl halftime headliners lip sync instead of singing live?
Well, the part that was highlighted, did you read it? It said they perform live, but a rehearsal is recorded as a kind of like an insurance for the NFL. So if something goes wrong, they play it.
In 2015, Katy Perry said before her show she expected a lot of it will be live. An admission that she'd occasionally resort to lip syncing when her over-the-top choreography required it.
Then don't dance.
But I think the performance is more important than the singing at the Super Bowl. I know these people can sing. I've heard them sing.
So stupid.
So it looks like there's a little bit of both. According to this, even Whitney Houston lip synced.
Then don't perform.
But she was just singing the national anthem, right?
If you are getting to perform on the biggest stage, do your job. Do what you're supposed to do. I hate that.
In 1998, the NFL chose folk superstar Jewel to sing the national anthem before Super Bowl 32 in San Diego. She drew criticism for lip syncing to a track she had previously recorded. I don't think you should be able to sing the national anthem because there's no dancing. You're just supposed to get there and sing. I understand with all the moving parts, and Katy Perry was on that big-ass lion or whatever that was going across the Super Bowl field.
And the shark.
There was a lot going on. And even Rihanna's like floating in space. So I get it.
Yeah, but she didn't move. You know, like most of Rihanna's performances are normally she's moving so much more.
She did some cool little foot moves, and then she did the butt feather thing.
You don't move that fast when you're pregnant.
I don't think you can.
Unless you're normally used to running marathons and stuff.
So it looks like the answer is a little bit of both. In January 1991, producer Ricky Minor flew to Los Angeles to have Whitney Houston record the vocal track for the national anthem at the upcoming Super Bowl. Houston needed only a single take to deliver a soulful, slow-paced rendition that showcased her incomparable talent.
And why didn't you just do it live?
Oh, wait. Everything seemed set until NFL Commissioner Paul Tagliabue listened to Houston's recording a week before the Super Bowl and deemed it too slow. He tasked longtime NFL Super Bowl czar.
Speed it up.
What?
Just speed it up.
And asking John Houston, Whitney's dad and manager at the time, to have her re-record it. And let's see. I called John. I need to get to the end of this now.
Chris Stapleton, Lisa's right, he crushed the national anthem. But there are people that are saying, how come we've never had like a country halftime show? And I do think it's strange because country music is fun. It's party music. It's tailgate music. I think a lot of NFL fans are also country fans. I think you've got the whole family-friendly vibe there. But for some reason, the NFL just does not F with country music.
I think country is very polarizing.
Well, I'd say you'd have... Yeah, so you don't realize, like, so is Rihanna and so is last year's.
The difference, though, is Rihanna's still pop. You cannot like Rihanna. You cannot like Dr. Dre. You cannot like 50 Cent. You cannot like all of them. But hip-hop has crossed over into pop. Almost every pop song you listen to now has hip-hop influences.
But I'm just talking about the regular person sitting on their couch watching.
I understand that. But if you're in pop music, it means most of the country has accepted you as pop. Country's not there yet. I think new country is. I don't think country artists in the 90s had enough crossover appeal to do the Super Bowl. I think today, though, a Maren Morris or a Luke Bryan, Zach Brown, who else? Who did we just see?
Sam Hunt, Luke Combs.
Does Sam Hunt have enough hits to do the Super Bowl?
No, but it would have to be a medley. Everyone who's country. Just
Luke Combs would be
one
great.
song.
But how many of those songs are too slow? And that was one of the things I worried about with Rihanna.
Long neck, ice cold beer, never broke my heart. That's fast.
Yeah. I'm not saying I wouldn't like it. I just don't know if they are crossover enough.
But I think that you don't realize how polarizing someone like literally any artist that is mentioned in the last 10 years. There are half the country's like, stupid. Beyonce halftime show. It's so stupid.
Okay. How many number one songs, Billboard number one songs?
What are you asking?
How many Billboard number one songs does, who's the guy we just saw?
Luke Combs.
Luke Combs.
No, I don't think it needs to be one artist. If you're going to introduce country, it has to be a medley. It has to be like when it was Britney Spears and Aerosmith and NSYNC or whoever.
Okay, Luke Combs has 0 number one hits.
That's funny.
0.
No,
and he's like the biggest country artist out right now.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm saying it's funny because the NFL gives 0 Fs about country music. Yeah. Okay? Yeah. That's number one. Number two, I'm telling you that any artist you pick for the Super Bowl halftime show, half of America's going to hate.
Oh, of course. We're not going to agree on anything ever.
So therefore, everyone is polarizing.
Yes.
Rihanna had 14. I talked about it on the podcast.
Exactly.
Why'd you Google it?
I just wanted to make sure it was 14.
No, trust me.
That was my favorite halftime show. NSYNC, Britney, Aerosmith. Good halftime show.
So good.
It was interesting that Rihanna brought nobody out.
Well, she did in her interview last week say she had a special guest.
Yeah, her baby bump.
I love it.
Further Mailman said Garth Brooks absolutely could have done a great halftime show. Well, Garth Brooks can definitely do it.
He's like, what, the most decorated artist ever. He's got more number one hits, most listened to albums, like all of that. And you can only listen to his music on Amazon.
Garth Brooks has 19 number ones.
But look at his, I think he's got the most winningest.
Oh, wait. 19 number ones on the Hot Country chart.
He definitely crossed over.
He has 9 number ones on the Billboard 200. So still, as big as Garth Brooks is,
Rihanna still has more.
Rihanna still has 5 more number one hits than Garth Brooks. A career that started in, 1902? How long has Garth Brooks been around? So that was my only point.
But he's like, what is this thing? It's the most listened to. He's got some insane. There's some insane Garth Brooks stat that it's like he's the most listened to artist ever or something.
Let's see. It's Megnut Megan said Garth has sold more albums than any single artist.
That's what it is.
I believe it.
Taylor's got to be coming up on that.
Is it bad to ask if Rihanna was pregnant? No, I mean her representative said she was pregnant.
I think when she first came out, I was like, is she? And then she touched her belly, and I was like, okay, that's clearly pregnant. But.
Well, I think any time, especially because Rihanna, her whole career has been so, thin.
Yeah, that's why I was like, this. But then I was like, well, she did
I don't know if thin is slender. I don't know the best word.
She did just have a baby.
Yeah. But there's another one coming out. I still think Taylor Swift would be. Has Taylor never done one?
She refused. Remember, they asked her and she said no or something.
She would be great. Because she spans like everything. She'd bring out a bunch of people. She could bring out Kendrick and
Or
Brendan
she could
Urie.
bring out no one.
Or she could bring out nobody. I think Taylor would be great. I think one
yeah,
day.
I could love to see Folklore on the halftime stage.
Folklore, that's the really slow one, right?
Yeah. Wait.
Garth Brooks has 9 diamond albums. Listen, I need everyone to understand. I'm not saying Garth Brooks doesn't deserve to be at the Super Bowl halftime show. Just saying there's a reason they haven't gone country.
Actually, I still think the best Super Bowl halftime performer that kind of like appealed to all generations was Bruno Mars.
Bruno is my number 2.
Who's number 1?
Lady Gaga.
Mm.
I thought she was phenomenal. Yeah. And it was just hits. It was hit after hit after hit after hit. Everyone knows Lady Gaga songs. But yeah, Bruno was also very, very good. And Bruno was interesting because I don't know if the world knew Bruno the way we know him now. I don't think he was a mega star when he did that Super Bowl halftime show.
Oh, I disagree.
I
Wait,
think he was
I started
a star
filming
in the radio world.
What did I say? Is she pregnant? But I stopped because I was like, I'm filming this. I'm not going to post that if it ends up not being it. And then I literally the first day, is she
Cindy says Prince followed by Bruno. Now, I will admit that I don't remember the Prince halftime show.
I do.
But I've heard it was pretty good.
We weren't babies.
I just don't remember it. Angela, yes, you're right. Lady Gaga was incredible. Bruno over Gaga, says Martha. And I can't argue with anyone who says Bruno was better than Gaga.
Prince was 2016.
I don't remember it.
Oh, you know why?
Oh, because we didn't watch it. We were stuck in Wyoming. Yeah, that's why I don't remember it. I should probably go back and watch that. I didn't watch any of that Super Bowl. I don't even know who won.
Wait. Time out. Pause. No, that is 2007.
Oh, so who was 2016 that we didn't watch? So for a little backstory, in case you don't know what we went through in 2016, the day of the Super Bowl, we were supposed to go from Cheyenne, Wyoming, to Salt Lake City, Utah. And the reason we were stopping in Salt Lake City was because we knew people in Salt Lake City, and we were specifically going to watch the Super Bowl so that we could go into the studio that night, record a couple tracks for our brand new morning show, and continue our drive to Seattle the next day. Unfortunately, the window blew out in our U-Haul, the passenger side window on Carla Marie's side, and we got stuck in Wyoming for hours. Then we didn't get to
Cheyenne, Wyoming.
We didn't get to Salt Lake City until after the Super Bowl. It was a mess. It was an absolute mess.
But we did watch part of the Super Bowl at the potluck dinner that they had in Cheyenne, Wyoming.
Point Rock gas station.
Point of Rock. So wait, were we in Cheyenne or Point of Rock?
We started the day in Cheyenne.
Oh,
but then we when we finally pulled over, it was Point of Rock, Wyoming.
You're right. So 2016, it was Coldplay, Beyonce, and Bruno Mars. And then 2014 was Bruno Mars, Red Hot Chili Peppers.
That's the one I remember then. 2014 was the Bruno performance that I remember.
So weird, though. So they were just like basically rotating between Beyonce and Bruno. Beyonce, then Beyonce, Bruno.
Yeah, that is kind of weird.
Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. I remember the Who. I was like, what is happening?
I remember not caring about Tom Petty at the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Like Paul, I remember Paul, because where's it? Okay, so 2004, Janet Jackson, Kid Rock, P. Diddy, Nelly, Justin Timberlake, and they were like, well, we can't do that again. We can't have nipples. Let's have Paul McCartney.
Yeah. That was really what the NFL did, though. They were like, we need the safest artist we can put up there. Let's put an old man who's not going to show his nips.
Yeah.
But you never know.
So they did, in 2001, it was titled The Kings of Rock and Pop, featuring Aerosmith, NSYNC, Britney Spears, Mary J. Blige, and Nelly.
I mean, that's a hard lineup to beat.
Yeah, but the Kings?
But here's what I will say. For someone like, was it Bruno and Red Hot Chili Peppers?
Yeah.
Right? For Lady Gaga to be the only headliner listed and still go toe-to-toe for a performance with all of those other years is pretty incredible. Because it's easy to say, oh, I liked 2004? was that year with everyone? Aerosmith and
4.
2004. It's easy to say, oh, that was my favorite performance in 2004,
There
but
were so many.
you had so many options. And you could just keep the energy going with someone else coming on stage and someone else coming on stage. Lady Gaga and even Rihanna yesterday, doing that whole thing by yourself and still being thought of as a really great performance, that can't be easy.
It's crazy to go back and see, like...
Did Lady Gaga bring anyone out?
No, it just says Lady Gaga, so... In 1995, Indiana Jones and the Temple of the Forbidden Eye, featuring Tony Bennett, Patti LaBelle, they just did the soundtrack.
What, at the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I mean, like, back then, it looks like they... 93, Heal the World, featuring Michael Jackson and 3,500 local children. Ooh.
All right. I think we've covered the Super Bowl as much as we can possibly cover the Super Bowl.
I need more than a year before we can talk about it again. Unless the Seahawks are in it.
Why'd you make it sound like you were just talking about like death? It's the Super Bowl.
I'm over it. Every year, it's the same song and dance. Oh, what Super Bowl? What's gonna happen? Who's gonna win? Who's gonna perform? What are they gonna sing? What color is the Gatorade after the Super Bowl? What commercials did you like? How did they perform? What was your favorite thing? Every year we do it.
So then why didn't you come prepared with anything else?
I had something and I forgot to tell you about it. So I'll do it tomorrow.
So you're gonna sit there, shit on everything we did for the last hour and 12 minutes, and provide literally nothing. You showed up a minute before we started doing the show.
That's not true.
3 minutes.
Yeah, but just because you were sitting here.
But don't crap on everything we just did.
No, I'm not crapping.
These 5 people hung out with us this whole time.
I'm not crapping on what we did. Just the song and dance that everyone does every year. You work in an office. What are you talking about today?
Of course. It's because it's one of the very few things that, for the most part, all of us experience together.
I know.
I think it's actually kind of beautiful.
Oh, then you didn't see the pregame thing where they were talking about how the Super Bowl unites America.
Yeah, I don't know about that. It got like real. They tried to make it a little more important than it was. But I do think when we get to share experiences, much like the last episode of Game of Thrones, when you have millions and millions of people doing the same exact thing at the same exact time, it's pretty crazy. And that's why we all talk about it. We are going to be back tomorrow. According to Carla Marie, there will be 0 Super Bowl talk at all.
No, that's not true.
0 sports talk until this time next year, and we'll do this all over again.
Scotty said, "Didn't unite me. I watched YouTube."
That's what you can do. But most people, we're still doing it. We will see you tomorrow. Hopefully, we'll see you tonight at Carla Marie's event at the Columbia Tower with Seattle Cocktail Club. Peace out. Let me hit this button right here. Where'd it go? That one and that one.